Alrighty, so I am going to demonstrate how we measure chest wall excursion. Ideally, we want to do this over skin. So when you're coming into lab or you're in your lab practical, it's always good to ask if someone has a sports bra or a tank top on so that the cloth from the t-shirt isn't affecting your measurement. We don't have that today, so we're just going to make do with what we have. But again, in the practical, you want to go over skin or over a tight clothing. And this is a pretty tight t-shirt, so we're probably going to be fine. We're going to use 3 landmarks to measure chest wall excursion, and we're going to take an average of 3 measurements at each level. We're going to use the centimeter side of the tape, and we're going to wrap the tape around the chest wall at each level and have the patient breathe all the way out, tighten the tape as much as possible, have them breathe all the way in, and let their chest wall move the tape. The difference in the measurement is considered the chest wall excursion at that level. And the reason we do the 3 landmarks is upper lobe, middle lobe, and lower lobe. So how we find the landmarks is the upper lobe, we go just underneath the axilla. So I'm actually gonna have you stand up. You don't have to have the patient stand up, but it's good to have them stand up because that way the plinth isn't blocking their diaphragm as they breathe. When you're sitting down, the plinth does kind of block your diaphragm a little bit. So I'm gonna have you lift your arms up. Okay, I'm gonna bring the tape around. I'm gonna cross the tape in front. I'm gonna find a marker. Okay, I'm gonna put my finger on the 100 there, so that'll be my base. And I'm gonna pull it as tight as I can. I'm gonna have you breathe all the way out. Okay, I'm gonna pull it as tight as I can and breathe all the way in. And so she went from 20 to 15, so that's 5. And then I would do that 2 more times and take an average of the 3. I'm going to use the same technique at the next landmark. You have the patient find their sternal notch, so if you can put your hand there on your notch. Good. And then you're going to do 3 fingers perpendicular, and at the bottom finger you're going to feel a bump, and that's the sternomanubrial angle. If you come just right or left of that, you're going to be on rib 2, and you want to count down to rib 3. So once we found rib 3, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cross that, make sure the tape is even back to front. And we're going to find a landmark here with the tape. Okay, I got it. We're good. Breathe all the way out. Okay, pulling it as tight as possible. Breathe all the way in. So that one was from 50 to 43. So that's 7 centimeters. I would do that 3 times. The last landmark is the xiphoid process. So you would just follow the ribs up until you found the xiphoid process, and you'd come around and do the same technique there 3 times. Pulling this tape tight, breathe all the way out. Okay. Breathe all the way in. And again, that was 7. So she has a lot more movement in the middle and lower lobes than she did the upper lobes, but all those were really good. There is no normal because everybody's different. Your breathing capacity is based on your height, your race, your age, and your gender. So we're not looking for a target number necessarily. We're just looking at a baseline and see if it improves over time as we work on flexibility and mobility and strength of the chest wall in a person who has an impairment in chest wall mobility. So if you find that the 3rd rib is like equal to the axilla, you can move down to the 4th or 5th rib for the middle lobe. You just want to document that you did that, so when you repeat the measurement, you go to the same landmark again. And so that's chest wall excursion.